So today I'm going to be going over how I won a really big regulation G tournament using Terapagos. I'll be going over some of the high level games and the thought process I used to win those, and hopefully by looking into those, I can teach you guys how to win a few tournaments yourselves. But before we get into that, I'm going to do a quick team breakdown on the team I used. Now you might be wondering why I chose Terapagos over any other restricted in the format. Well, Terapagos is super underrated at the moment, so not many people are really hard prepping into it. And also, it has some of the best matchup spreads in the game. Like, it's really good into Groudon and Kyogre. It's really good into Miraidon. It's really good. It's really good into Calyrex Shadow. Like, I think Terapagos' Calyrex Shadow's worst matchup. And with the right amount of support, it has a good Calyrex Ice matchup also. Terapagos is also one of the best balance mons as it's quite bulky, and its ability Terra Shift is also really good next to mons such as Incineroar, as you can use it to be a switch in for Incineroar, so it can get back Intimidate and Fake Out on a later turn, and then you will never take much damage due to not being very effective when you're at full HP. From there, you can start setting up a few Carmines. You have redirection so they can't hit you while you're going for Carmines. You have Fake Out support also to help that. With grassy terrain and leftovers, after maybe like a Protect, you can give back to Terra Shift with leftovers, which is really nice. So I think Rillaboom and Terapagos is a really nice partnering. And also, Tornadus gives you the speed control to be able to sweep through with Terapagos, and it's also really nicely paired with Urshifu Rapid Strike. Urshifu Rapid Strike also gives you a really good matchup into opposing Terapagos, and it's also really good into teams that don't have Tailwind or really bulky setup Pokemon like Zamazenta. Like, against Zamazenta, I didn't even bring Terapagos. I just used Urshifu Rapid Strike with Tornadus, and then used Amoonguss and Rillaboom to help support Urshifu. Because Terapagos can't hit Zamazenta consistently with Terra Starstorm, as it has Wide Guard, and after Terra, Earth Power doesn't do much. But if you can force a Terra to Terra Grass, if they are Terra Grass, then you can start using Tornadus and Clear Smog. And if they don't Terra, then they're just going to get destroyed by Surging Strikes, Terra Water, Rain Dance, and Tornadus. So if you're wondering how to beat the Koraidon matchup, which is one of Terapagos' harder matchups, you can just use Tornadus and Incineroar. If you set up Rain Dance and they can't really do much damage to Amoonguss, then Amoonguss can just spore everything. And Terapagos, if set up well with Fake Out and Rage Powder, then you can just get a few Carmines off and then just one shot them with Terra Starstorm. You don't even have to Terra. You can maybe Terra your Incineroar sometimes. If you can Terra your Incineroar into Ghost, then you can get a lot more Pine Shots off onto their other mons. And also Bleak Wind in Rain Dance is heaps of damage to Koraidon. And once Koraidon's terrored, you can Terra this and then just start spamming Terra Starstorm, which will beat that. The team also has heaps and heaps of options, like different modes. Like you can lead Tornadus Terapagos, you can lead Tornadus Urshifu, you can lead Urshifu Rillaboom, you can go Amoonguss Terapagos, Incineroar Amoonguss, Incineroar Tornadus. You can pretty much lead anything with this team, which I find really nice, and it allows a lot of creativity in leads and how you can position to beat your opponent. And that can also catch them off guard in both game 2s and 3s after you've done a pretty standard strategy in game 1, but then you can shape it up in game 2 and 3. Also, this team allowed me to skill diff a lot of people, as since I have more options, I never really get into 50-50s, so I never really have to go for hard reads, and that means I can just win based off positioning. And I'll show you how to do that after I go over the replays of the games. So yeah, overall, this team has really good matchups, and yeah, let's get into the games. Yeah, so the first game I want to go over is my winning game. I was at 5-1 and he was also at 5-1, and if I win this game, then I get to skip one round top cut, so I go straight to top 16, which I thought would be really good, nice. Here they have Urshifu and Calyrex Shadow. The reason they probably didn't bring in Whimsicott is because they know that my Tornadus can just go Bleak Wind and I can just protect my Terapagos turn 1, and then they just lost them on straight away. The reason I go for Protect is because the opponent is forced to double up my Terapagos, because if the Terapagos does not die this turn, I can KO both of them the next turn after 2 Terra Starstorms, and the only way to break the Terra Shell is to buy not Ash Barraging, so I know that my Tornadus won't take any damage this turn. And even though Urshifu can go through Protect, it won't do much damage as I have Terra Shell up, and by delaying my Terra Starstorm by 1 turn, I can then stop my Terapagos from being KO'd by going for Bleak Wind Storm and Terra Starstorm to KO their Urshifu. They didn't Terra their Calyrex because they are actually Terra fighting. The reason they didn't Terra is because then I could just one-shot them, and that means they're forced to go for Ash Barrage on my Tornadus. But since my Tornadus is really bulky, that doesn't even KO. Also, I have the battle on 2x speed because we are going to be trying to get through a lot of replays here, and I'll try and explain them the best I can in this period of time. Here, I just go for double protect because I don't want to really get faked out. And if they do fake out my Terapagos and I miss my Bleak Windstorm and they go for Ash Barrage, then that can be pretty bad in the back because I only have a few turns of Tailwind remaining. And here he just goes for Flare Blitz on my Tornadus to pick it up. That is a pretty safe play. After playing this, they do have Rillaboom in the back, which makes sense. They wanted to try and pick up my Tornadus so they have less threats to their Rillaboom in the back. Because like the only way they win this is if they play really well with like double Fake Out plus like Calyrex with their Terra Blast. But here they're forced to switch out Calyrex because that's like their last really damaging mon. And they're going to try and make me miss Bleakwind, but that didn't happen. And the Rillaboom isn't actually the softest variant, it's Clear Amulet, which I think is very, very interesting. It's quite good into Incineroar. And since Calyrex is weak to Incineroar, it would make sense for them to try and get more Incineroar resistances. But yeah, like this game's pretty much sealed up. I do lose my Tailwind this turn, but then since I have like Fake Out plus Urshifu, there's no real way they can win. Also, the reason I bring Incineroar over Urshifu here is just so they can't see my Urshifu in the back for the next game. If they see my Urshifu in the back here, it could become a little bit sketchy because then they can bring Rillaboom. They know they should bring Rillaboom next game. And if they play really well with Whimsicott Calyrex, then my Urshifu actually won't be very good if they do bring Rillaboom. But since I never showed my Urshifu, they're going to be more inclined not to bring Rillaboom the next game. Here, I'm pretty surprised they didn't actually go for Terra Blast on my Incineroar just to see what the last one is. But either way, it doesn't actually KO my Terapagos. So I'd actually be really surprised if it did KO my Incineroar, so yeah. And here we just win the rest of the game, so it was pretty easy, and we clutched up quite well. Now, after winning that game pretty confidently, I'm trying to figure out a way that they can pressure my Terapagos Tornadus lead. Their best lead into it is probably Whimsicott and Calyrex Shadow, and if they KO my Terapagos with their Calyrex Shadow, then that could be quite bad. But here, I don't think there is really a good way for them to pressure Terapagos, as I can just stay my non-Terraform, and that means I can take a lot of hits. I can also try and go for Calm Minds, and if they do Terra, because that's the only way to damage the Terapagos is to Terra fighting their Calyrex Shadow, it means I can also get Fake Out pressure with my Incineroar in the next few turns, and then be able to spam Calm Mind after that. The Whimsicott doesn't have Encore, so yeah, I am quite free to go for Calm Minds. But in the first turn here, I just want to check if their Calyrex is slow and their Whimsicott is like really, really fast. I don't want their Whimsicott to be able to like just go Moonblast plus like Terra Blast onto my Terapagos to pick it up. So I'm just really scouting out the speed tiers of this Calyrex and this Whimsicott just to see, just so I don't like get destroyed on this game too. Here I also bring Incineroar. The reason I bring Incineroar here is so I can take an Astral Barrage, and also the next turn I can go for Fake Out, because I'm predicting them to go for the Terra Fight and Terra Blast, which is what I'm trying to get around. And yeah, I just go for Protect. Next turn I will have Fake Out pressure on the Calyrex Shadow, which I think is really, really nice. And yeah, they do just double my Terapagos, so that was like a perfect turn. Here I just like don't let my ego overtake me. And I'm really thinking this turn through. It's like, if I do Fake Out this Calyrex Shadow, then the next turn, and they're probably going to Protect, right? So if I do Fake Out, the next turn they can pressure my Incineroar into like Terrain, and I don't really, really like that. So I actually decided to Pine Shot the Whimsicott here just to get a better turn. I just go for Calm Mind, so I harder into the Protect here. And I don't want them like to have good pressure on me the next turn, so yeah, that's why I just go for Pine Shot, because now I can get back my Tornadus, and then I can get Tailwind up. And now here, I can just go for like Tailwind and Terra Starstorm. I know their Terra Blast never KOs me after like, because last game we saw that it didn't KO me. And even if they go for Helping Hand, which they have on their Whimsicott, it won't KO me because I'm at +1. So that would just make it like what it was last game. But yeah, I do just Terra Starstorm here to do the most amount of damage. He has to go for Astral Barrage here, so they have Rillaboom in the back. And the Rillaboom is really, really bad against the Tornadus. So if they can KO the Tornadus here, then their Whimsicott and Rillaboom is in a much better position. But even so, like, I'm doing so much damage with Terra Starstorm, and he hasn't got any damage on my Terapagos so far, that I kind of know with Incineroar in the back, then my Terapagos plus Incineroar and Urshifu should just be able to KO all these mons anyway. And yeah, here they just bring in Rillaboom, but since I have like Fake Out plus like Terra Starstorm, there's nothing they can really do. Also, Flare Blitz does just KO if I do go for Flare Blitz. And yeah, they can only Fake Out one of my mons, so I decided to just go for both of them going for damage. My Terapagos is faster, which is nice. Oh, one funny thing is my Terapagos has like... My Terapagos isn't fully EV'd. I actually forgot to put 24 EVs in it, so it's actually meant to be quite slow. So they must have been running really, really slow, Rillaboom. Yeah, the main takeaway from this is just like, know when you have pressure on the opponent so they can protect, and when you hit into the protect, are you actually getting anything out of it? If they don't have pressure on you the next turn, once you do hit into the protect, it's actually fine just to go Fake Out onto that Calyrex Shadow. But since they could just OHKO my Incineroar or pressure it to Terra, which I did really not like, the next turn, that's why I had to play around that. So yeah, that's one thing I take out of the game. But here we just have like Urshifu and Incineroar. I know my Incin plus Urshifu can always beat their Urshifu in the back because I do have Fake Out plus Coast Combat. And we are the Sash variant, so yeah. Even if they did crit my Terapagos, which is what I was thinking about, I knew that since I had Fake Out plus Urshifu in the back, we'd still win because we can go for like Fake Out Surge Strikes. And then like if they have like really Urshifu in the back, my Urshifu and my Incineroar should be able to beat that. And yeah, that was the win in game I won to get into top cut. So the next game here is against the one guy I lost to in Swiss. He's using a Zacian Landorus team, and this is actually quite hard for Terapagos. The Sacred Sword plus like Earth Power does so much damage to Terapagos, and I kind of want to bring my Incineroar, but it's really, really hard against his Urshifu and Landorus. Also, like it's quite a bad matchup just because like all these mons are faster than me. Like if I go for the Tornadus route, then his Landorus can just like go for Earth Power all my mons. Then he can like outspeed me with like Urshifu and Zash in the back. I can't really use my Urshifu as well because of his Tornadus, and his Urshifu is quite bulky, and he's got a really, really fast Landorus also, so he's always going to be faster than me. So this matchup just felt really sketchy. I knew I had to outposition him here. And one funny thing is I actually read the team sheets wrong. I forgot he had Taunt on his Tornadus, so it was just like, oh yeah, it's a pretty safe Fake Heart plus Calm Mind. But in doing this, I actually did get taunted on my Terapagos. And since I got taunted, I was actually behind one turn the whole game that I was meant to be. Because here he just gets like a free taunt, and now I can't even protect. Like I can't try and position around because I can't protect. I can't go for any more Calm Minds. And that's just a really bad turn for me. But here I'm just like, oh, forgot to read the team sheets, so I have to like now really position really well. I was thinking about terroring Ghost here because then I can maybe go for Pine Shot and Landorus won't be doing as much damage. And also it means that I don't have to like take a Bleak Wind Storm with my Rillaboom. But I'm like, I kind of do have to take this Earth Power. I don't really want to terror my... I don't want to terror my Incineroar because then they're just going to take advantage of my Terapagos. My Terapagos won't be able to do much damage after that. But in hindsight, I actually might have been alright to go for Terragos on my Incineroar. But here, after like, we can just go like Fake Out and KO the Tornadus if I want to, which is what I was thinking. I was also thinking of going like Grassy Glide plus Terra Star Summon the Landorus because that would just KO and give me a pretty good position in the back. But at the same time, if they do just protect their Landorus, which is like the most obvious play, then I'm just gonna get like kerfuffled here. So I'm just trying to play it safe here. If he does miss Bleak Wind, then that's also really good on my Rillaboom. I don't remember if he did or didn't. No, he hit. That's still fine. We do KO the Tornadus. Now my Urshifu is in a much better position. So if I position my Urshifu correctly, even though I was behind one full turn, it's still fine. It's still fine. Also, although I was behind one turn, it does mean we can sort out their Tailwind a little bit better. But I don't actually think that matters too much just because like all my monsters are slower than him anyway. I was really thinking, do I bring an Urshifu or Incineroar here? Because like my Urshifu, I can try and go... It means they can't protect. Like if I bring my Urshifu here, we can bait them into not protecting and then just protect our Urshifu and try and do a lot of damage, which is also really, really good. But here they do bring in their own Urshifu, and now it's like, oh, now I can't protect either. But the thing is, they can only KO one Pokemon, and that means we're still going to be able to do a lot of damage. So it's just like, okay, maybe we can survive a close combat with our Terapagos, and we can probably go for Aqua Jet on this, or we can go for Surging Strikes. I should have gone for Surging Strikes in hindsight because it's very unlikely they're going to double up my Urshifu, and if they do terror their Landorus, like... it's more likely that they'll try and just KO my Terapagos. So here in hindsight, it's better just to go for Surge Strikes. But I'm pretty sure I do clutch this up somehow. Yeah, so we go for Terra Star Storm. I'm pretty sure they just go for Close Combat plus Earth Power on my... oh no, they go for Grass Knot actually. Yeah. Okay. No, that's fine. Because they thought I was going to go for Surge Strikes and they needed to like KO my Urshifu because I do have Incineroar on the back. This just allowed me to go for Terra Star Storm. So that was a misplay. So we did win on the misplay there. It was quite a hard match, to be honest. So it's alright if they do misplay. And that's pretty much how I've had to win. I had to just play better. But yeah, I had to go for Surging Strikes over that. And I probably needed to position my Urshifu better. And I needed to go for like Terra Star Storm earlier. And actually read the team sheets. Because if you're like one turn behind, you're really going to struggle with like positioning your Fake Outs properly and getting your Urshifus. Because if I can get my Urshifu in or like force their Urshifu in a turn earlier, then we'd actually have Rillaboom on the field while their Urshifu is on the field. Or, yeah, because if we go for like Terra Star Storm the first turn, then we actually can just KO their Tornadus and then the Rillaboom doesn't have to take the Bleak Wind. And then the Rillaboom's got much more HP. I got double Fake Out plus Urshifu. So yeah. The matchup wasn't actually that bad. I just kind of played it bad. But yeah, you just got to really figure out like how many turns do you lose in your game if you make that play, if that makes sense. But the game after this, I won't actually show. I did just win it off like just playing better. He just played bad again. So yeah. But that time I actually remembered to hit the not go for Calm Mind, and that's what happened. My Really Boom came in, and it was on the field when Urshifu was on the field, so that means I could just basically beat him. Yeah, but yeah, it was still a bit sketchy this endgame. I had to go for Protect to go read it. Like the reason I did this is because he has to go for Terapagos. There's no way you try and KO my Incineroar here, and yeah. Like I also protected here just in case like Flare Blitz plus like Plate Rough can KO me somehow. Yeah. And I mean, then we won that one, so that was my top 16 game. I'm going to skip both my top 4 and top 8 games here just because they weren't really that fun to watch, as they were just really... That was quite easy matchups. I just spoiled the Calyrex and the Trick Room game, and then I could just set up with my Terapagos, so that was quite easy. And in the top 8, I just outpaced his Tailwind team and just banned Fake Out. So that, like, there wasn't too much of a thought process that went into that, so I'm not going to really talk about it. And then my last game was this is Grand Finals now. It was against the Terapagos Mirror. Now, my Incineroar has Taunt, which I thought was really, really good. So I was thinking, what is the MVP, right? So how can I position my Terapagos, my Incineroar, the MVPs of the team, to beat his Incineroars and Terapagoses? Now, I can always taunt his Amoonguss, which I think is really, really good. It's a lot harder to taunt his Calm Minds because it's really about a damage trade game here. So I just really had to position my Amoonguss and Incineroar well here. And because of that, that's why I just led both of them straight up, just so I can start going for Spores and Terapagos and then Pine Shot, and then try and reposition them again late game. And I thought if I can get a few Spores off early, then I can really position my Terapagos very, very well. This leads also really good here just so I can scout what they have. But here I just go for the most consistent player of like Pine Shot plus Spore. He makes a really good play of switching in the Amoonguss switches to take the Spore. And he also just goes for knock off onto my Amoonguss, which means I don't get as much healing for the rest of the game, which is also another really, really smart play. The reason I go into Tornadus here is just so I can get Rocky Helmet Chip if he does try to knock off me or Flare Blitz my Incineroar. But then I can just go for Bleak Wind. Bleak Wind's not too bad. I was thinking, like, do I Bleak Wind just to try and KO and maybe just go for, like, Pollen Puff here? On, like, one of their monsters, just try and do more damage. And I also thought they might switch, so I was, like, thinking maybe I'd go for a Spore Read, but I didn't go for that. I just go back into Incineroar here. What Incineroar and Protect allows me to do is I can just go for Fake Out on their Amoonguss. And now the next turn I can go for Bleak Wind on it. Now, if I had have gone for the Spore Read, it actually would have been really, really good. I could have caught their Terapagos, but I don't think it mattered too much. And we do just catch their Pine Shot on the Tornadus. We can just go for Bleak Wind here. I was thinking just so we can get some damage off. And we can probably just go into my own Terapagos with a Pine Shot. That's what I was thinking. Because now we can, like, this is a really good position because it's quite passive from them. And since they don't have Spore on the field, we can start trying to get a few more Calm Minds. I also go for Tailwind plus Pine Shot just so in case they go for, like, Terra Starstorm onto my Incineroar and try and, like, just do heaps of damage, then I can just go and get, like, into a Amoonguss straight away. But you just go into Calm Minds, just Calm Minds here. Oh, I actually didn't bring my Terapagos. It's kind of a throw. It's much better to bring in my Terapagos there, just because then I can start going for Calm Mind. But I actually didn't realize that game 1. This game was like super positional based. Like I was finding it really hard just like be able to position my Terapagos freely without like him being able to spore it. Then I realized like in game 2 it doesn't actually matter if he spores it because he has no real damage output. So eventually I'll wake up and then I can just start going for like Terra Starstorms, and that'll be the damage difference. But here he starts getting like quite a bit of damage on me, which I didn't really like. And since I don't have knockoff on my Incineroar, I can't actually stop him from like going for leftovers. But here I just go for like Fake Out on the Amoonguss, just in case he like gets a Sludge Bomb crit or something. And then here I can just go for like Pollen Puff and heal up my Incineroar, which is quite good. I didn't really want to go for like Taunt or anything, but I guess Taunt's probably the better play on my Incineroar actually. It's actually quite good to look over these games just so I can figure out what I did right and wrong. And that's actually quite beneficial. So I'll probably like if you ever have a tournament, I'd actually recommend just streaming your games just so you can look over them and then figure out what you can do right and wrong later on. But yeah, this is a very balanced position. I really wanted to get in my Terapagos here because then I'm like, oh yeah, this is a really passive board state. I can start going for Pine Shots and the Incineroars and stuff. And actually I can get back into my Amoonguss if I want to. And like the Amoonguss Terapagos board state is like exactly what I want. Like he's asleep now with Terapagos. He's probably going to Pine Shot my Incineroar slot. He actually goes for the read here and Pine Shots my Amoonguss slot, which is actually quite smart. Because he kind of figured out that I would switch because I didn't really get anything from keeping Amoonguss on the board. So yeah, this guy's like actually playing really, really well, just getting the right reads and playing the turns correctly. But here I can just go like Clear Smog on the Terapagos. Oh, but actually, no, I switch into my Incineroar just for more damage output on the Amoonguss later. And I can go for Fake Out the next turn. But I shouldn't have done that. I should have just kept the Amoonguss on the board, to be honest. Yeah, because now if he wakes up, he can just go for Calm Minds, and it's a lot harder to start going for Clear Smog. So, yeah, the turn before that, I should have just gone, like, Clear Smog just in case he wakes up. And then I can just start going for Spore the next few turns. So, yeah, keeping the Amoonguss on the field is much better. Because now I have to, like, Pine Shot back into it. And I don't gain anything from the past turns. It makes a pretty smart play of just protecting here just to stall out more turns. He can also, I feel like his win con is just to stall out the timer and like get more damage on me because he's realized that he's actually got more damage on me at the moment. So, and I've got like no damage on him, and he's realizing that I'm finding it quite hard to get damage on him. And since he's at +2 now, if he stalls out my timer really well, because he knows that I can eventually get a Clear Smog on him, right? But if he can KO one Pokemon and then just stall the timer, he's actually going to win this. So right now, I'm like, okay, I have to go for KOs here. I have to try and pick up the Amoonguss. So I go for Terapagos because I don't ever think he's going to go for Terra Starstorm or a Terra on here, just in case I Terra my Terapagos. But what happened is which I didn't realize, but now I realize now, in the Terapagos mirror, whichever Terapagos is faster can Terra, as they can pick up the Oko if you Terra. But if you Terra and you're slower, then you always lose. So I can't Terra while he can Terra in this matchup, which is the only thing that sets like it kind of apart and makes it a bit harder for me, even though I do have better movesets and better mons on my team. But yeah, here I don't actually wake up, which is kind of bad. I really wanted to turn 1 sleep, but I can just go and get a Spore on their Terapagos, and their Moongus is on less than half HP, which means they're kind of forced to switch out their Moongus probably into Incineroar, and that gives me quite a good read here. I can just go for like Calm Mind, and if I go for Calm Mind now, then the Earth Power will be able to do heaps of damage. So I'm like, I'm not actually concerned with KO in this Amoonguss because I know it's going to switch. And you probably protect just so you like can go for Fake Out the next turn on your Terapagos. But if you don't protect here, like you're going to be passive anyway. There's no point doing damage, right? And yeah, he just goes for a Protect on the Terapagos. So I get a pretty free switch into my Amoonguss. And I also get like a really good Calm Mind here. He can just go for like Fake Out plus Terra Stars on my Amoonguss, which I didn't like. Because then he's just forcing me to switch it out the next turn. So I'm like, my Tornadus really isn't doing much here. It'd be really good into the Urshifu and the Amoonguss in the back, because I realize that he has been Urshifu if he wants a really consistent damage output onto my Terapagos. And you're never bringing Screamtail here because I've torn my Incineroar. And I just go Earth Power here, do heaps of damage. And he does actually pick up my Tornadus, which is quite annoying. But after the Rocky Helmet and Flare chip, his Incineroar does go down. So here, he's got like, I think 75% HP on his Amoonguss, but I'm at +2, I'm pretty sure, or +1 special attack. And I haven't Terra'd, but he has Terra'd, but I have Terra'd, yeah. And he's also probably got an Urshifu in the back. Yeah, and he sends out Urshifu. I don't think he's ever got in close combat, because if you close combat by Amoonguss, then you're just going to get one-shot by my Terapagos. And then my Terapagos plus like Amoonguss can probably sweep through, especially if I get a Spore on the Terapagos late game. And also, if I go for like Clear Smog here, it's kind of bad for him. So he's probably going to go for U-turn. I make a really good lead of not going for Rage Powder, and I just get the Spore off on the Terapagos. And I think that's the game changer in this game. Like, since his Terapagos is now asleep, and his Amoonguss actually did die from this Terra Starstorm, then I can just beat him in the endgame. And here I can just go for like Rage Powder against his Urshifu, and then I can go for like Terra Starstorm. It was a bit sketchy, because if he can KO my Amoonguss with Surgeon Strikes, then it's kind of bad. But I didn't think it would. I thought I'd like just survive, as I am a very defensively bulky on my Amoonguss. And then my Terra Starstorm, I knew that would Oko the Urshifu as I'd done the calcs. So as long as I just don't die on my Amoonguss, I should always win. And if I do die on my Amoonguss, as long as I get like maybe a 2-turn sleep here, I also just win. It goes for Surgeon Strikes, and we actually live on like 4 HP. Oh, 2 HP, yeah, we live on 2 HP here with my Amoonguss. So that's very lucky. And then the Terra Starstorm, like I said, would KO. Yeah, and from here, we can just go for like Clear Smog on the Terapagos. Clear Smog plus Terra Starstorm will just be able to do like heaps and heaps of damage. And after like, once I've got a Clear Smog off, and a Calm Mind off, because I knew he had another Terra to sleep. And if I can like just Clear Smog him, then I just win, right? Because I do heaps and heaps of damage. And as long as I don't get crit here, I'm like, I just win. Because he's got like barely any special attack. I've got like +3 special defense on my Terapagos now. I've got healing. And we also got Pollen Puff here if he doesn't wake up. And he actually does get the 3-turn sleep here. So yeah, we just win after that. In game 3 here, like I said, I didn't realize that I had to lead my Terapagos just so I can go for Calm Mind. And I realized when I was going for Calm Mind, he actually didn't get much pressure on me, even when I was asleep. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for the same lead. And since I have a better matchup since I have Taunt on my Incineroar, and my Amoonguss has Clear Smog, it's actually fine just mirroring every single turn, because eventually when we're not mirroring, I'll have the better turn, right? I will always be able to Clear Smog your Terapagos, which means you can never go for Calm Mind. But since you don't have Clear Smog, I can just always Calm Mind here, which is really, really nice. Here we both just play really, like, this is a really big positioning game. Since it's the grand finals, we don't really want to make any mistakes. So we do actually just go for like a really, really passive play of just like fake outing each other. After all these intimidates, that is. I'm really trying to decide, do I go for like Pine Shot on the Incineroar so I can get into a Moongus and just start sporing everyone? Or do I just go for Fake Out? And I'm like, Fake Out Calm Mind is probably the best play here, because he's probably going to Fake Out me anyway, and I don't want him to get a free Calm Mind off before me. Because that can't be bad, because then he can go for like Flare Blitz plus Terrasasa on my Moongus, and I can't have that happen, so yeah. Here I just go like Pine Shot and Calm Mind, it's pretty safe. And we actually do make another mirror move here. Like, we're just making the most safe plays. Like, they're pretty obvious. You need to like make sure that the Terapagos isn't doing too much damage. You want to get your Moongus on the field as quick as possible, so you can start stopping the Terapagos from ever going for heaps of Calm Minds. So yeah, I go Pine Shot here. Switch into my own Amoonguss. I'm like, I can just go for Spore the next turn. I was a bit worried they would just Flare Blitz like for reads, because if he reads me, then that's kind of bad, but he didn't, which is good, because we're both just playing safe here. We don't really know what's going on. We're just trying to see where we can go from here. But since my Amoonguss, now we're both just probably going to flex Spore Calm Mind, which is fine. Or I think he goes to Terrasasa here, as he knows I can go for Clear Smog later on. If you do Calm Mind here, it's kind of a throw. But yeah, we're in a really good position. Now, just goes for Calm Mind, we're both just mirroring each other. But the problem with that is now we can just go for Clear Smog, and you can't go for Clear Smog, like I said. Yeah, and we both just send each other to sleep. So this is quite funny. This is just a mirror game at the moment. Here I just go Clear Smog. It's quite an easy play, and I just go Terrasasa. I know I'm not going to wake up, so it doesn't really matter. And he goes into Incineroar here. I think his game plan is just like try and KO my Moongus as quick as possible. But the thing is, you can't really do that as your Terapagos is asleep. And now it's being Clear Smogged, which means it won't be doing as much damage. And to avoid getting KO'd on my Moongus, I can start going into Incineroar and then just start going for fake outs. And my Terrasasa will do way more damage now to you than yours is doing to me, which is really nice. I just go for Earth Power here. I know the Incineroar probably won't switch, and that will also do heaps of damage. He goes for another Calm Mind here, which is quite a good read. Yeah, Earth Power does heaps of damage, and he goes to Knock Off. I think Knock Off on the... this is a really, really nice play from him, actually. Because he knew I'd switch into my Incineroar, because that's probably the most obvious play. And by deleting my leftovers, that means you're going to be having more health than me. And I guess this is what his matchup actually came down to. Since he can never do more damage than me, what he has to try and do is actually stall out my my Calm Mind to make sure, with good Pine Shot play, I can never KO his mons. But the thing is, he didn't switch into his Moongus on the right turn, and that means I just KO his Incineroar. And now I can go Pine Shot. And this game is basically over already. Since he's behind in Calm Minds, and that's basically what the Terapagos matchup is. It's whoever gets the most Calm Minds off, and whoever can KO the supporting mons as quickly as possible. And yeah, since I did that better, then it's basically just done. Here's been Urshifu here. The plan for him is I didn't Rage Powder last time, so maybe I won't Rage Powder this time. And if I don't, then that's a throw, and I actually just lose. But I do make the right play of going for Rage Powder, and I do just go for Terrasasa, which does just KO his Urshifu after he went for Close Combat. His Terrasasa actually just quite a bit, I think, if I remember correctly. And since he did quite a lot, so that means my Moongus is probably in range of another one. Since I have 2 mons in the back and he only has a Moongus, he can no longer get Regenerator back, and I can just start going for Fake Out spam on him. I can also get Regenerator back on my Amoonguss, so I can get it to enough HP in where it can just go for Spore on the Terapagos and slow it down. He actually makes a really good read here and goes for Earth Power. I think the better play would have been Earth Power plus Sludge Bomb on my Incineroar, because if you get that off, actually you're you're not in the worst. You're not in that bad of a position. Because you actually got like, because now I can't go for fake out. I died anyway, but now I'm forced to go for fake out on my Rillaboom instead, which isn't as good for me. Yeah, Terrastar Storm goes off. The reason I fake out the Amoonguss is just so I don't go for sleep. If I do go to sleep on my Terapagos, then that's like my main damage dealer gone. Since his Terapagos isn't asleep, he'll be doing way more damage than me. That's why I do that. And since his Amoonguss has no protect, he's like Sludge Bomb, Pollen Puff, Rage Powder Spore. I can easily just go for like another Terrastar Storm in the Amoonguss. Now that goes down. And here it's just like, I don't want to get one shot or crit on my Terapagos. So I'm just going to try and KO it with my Rillaboom. So I go for the Wood Hammer. And I just go for Protect. And now, after the Protect, I should never like get KO'd by his Terrastar Storm. Yeah, and Wood Hammer just like half his HP. One interesting thing is, he doesn't actually go for Protect this turn. I thought he would have gone for Protect this turn because that's the right play. But I guess maybe if I read it and go for Calm Mind, it's actually bad for me if he does get the Terrastar Storm off, so he probably goes for that. And I guess he's just trying to make me misplay here. But yeah. I don't misplay. And he actually does just survive, which is kind of sketchy. But it's not that bad. As we can just get an Amoonguss and go for Spore. He does make another good play. Like, he's really trying to fight hard here. He reads my protection and goes for his own protect. And that means he doesn't go for the Spore on the turn that I'm not playing. And that means now if he does get a crit on my Terapagos, then he can just win. But like, I did look at the damage it dealt on the turns before, and it wasn't doing any more than like 50 damage. So I knew my Terapagos would survive. Yeah, just. And here I do get the crit, but it wouldn't matter because he would have just been asleep, and then the next turn I would have won. Yeah, so that's the grand finals. That's how I won the tournament. Yeah. Now, that's how I won the 100-player regulation G tournament. I didn't play exactly perfectly, but hopefully from me not playing perfectly, I could teach you guys what I could do better, and then hopefully you can learn from that yourself. I tried to explain my thought process as best as possible. When it came down to the grand finals, I was a bit more tired as I had played about 12 games already, and by then we were both pretty much playing reactively as our brain wasn't at like maximum capacity. I think if I was at the World Championships and I had all the adrenaline, I probably could have played a little bit better. But yeah, in the end, I did clutch it out anyway, and we did win. If you do like this content, make sure to subscribe. I do only have about 400 subscribers, and we're going to be trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the month. And I really am really grateful for all the support you guys have been giving me. We've done really well so far. And yeah, good night. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll make another one soon. Goodbye.